I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it turnpike miles. Yeah, it's Boo signing on.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week and part 2 of the message that we started last week on our emotions or our action signals and how we can control them and use them for our benefit throughout our days. Now, I'm Giannouloudis, and if you missed last week's message, you're going to want to stop this video and go take a look at that one, because everything that we're going over today is going to fall right in line with what we started last week. So pause this video, stop this, and go check that one out. And if you're still here and you've checked out last week's video, you'll remember that last week we started this message on action signals by addressing the first step, which is understanding how we all deal with our emotions on a regular basis, which were avoidance, denial, competition, and then learning and using. And once we grasp that, we can take the next step today, which is understanding the message our emotions are trying to tell us. Because like I said last week, most of us tend to walk through life not understanding our emotions and what they're saying and what life is trying to help us with through our emotional ups and downs. Being able to control your emotions and see how they can benefit you from every up and every down that you feel, it probably sounds like a fantasy. And yet, if you can grasp today's part 2 message and use it in your life, that fantasy is about to become your reality. So with all that being said, let's get right into today's message. Be sure to like this video and share it to someone if this impacts you in some way, because it could impact them as well, and that's what we all want. But to start today's message, I want to address with you guys the 6 steps to being able to master your emotions. Now, like I mentioned in last week's video, this is a concept I learned through my trainings to become a life coach with Tony Robbins, and he brought this step process to my attention. And I can say from experience, it has helped me out tremendously in my entire life. Because we all feel painful emotions at times. But if we don't see the pattern we're following or the benefit behind the emotion quickly, we could get stuck in a rut. And nobody wants that. So the first step in this process of mastering your emotions is being able to identify what you're really feeling. Because how many times have we or someone we know been completely overrun with our emotions, our situations, or just life in general, that we don't even know what we're feeling? All we know is that the negative emotions and feelings, they just keep coming at us. I'm sure we've all been there. And if you haven't been there, lucky you. Because this first step breaks that pattern and helps you get understanding to help in those situations. Because the first step is us taking a step back. We need to ask ourselves, what am I actually feeling right now? And it's a surprise to see how often we misconstrue what we're actually feeling. For example, some of us claim to feel angry over a situation when in actuality, we're hurt. Or we feel as if we lost something. You see that happen with a lot of relationships that end. Feeling anger is very different than feeling hurt or loss. Anger is much more intense. But if we can identify what we're actually feeling, that emotional intensity, it calms down a bit. Which in turn allows us to deal with this certain situation much more quickly. It allows us to learn from the emotion and understand ourselves on a deeper level. So this first step is that we need to take a step back and begin to question what we're actually feeling. That starts the process of breaking your emotional pattern and begins your ability to control your emotions. Now, step 2 is we need to acknowledge and appreciate our emotions. And just like we went over in last week's video, there is a positive intent to every single one of our emotions. They support us and want us to take action in our life, and whatever that means for you. And when you can see that they support us, support you in your life, and are trying to help you, you can begin to appreciate them. Now, I don't think I'm the only one who has done this in the world, so I'm going to throw it out there to you guys and see if it resonates. But has there ever been a time where you've gotten upset at yourself for how you're feeling? Prior to grasping my emotions and controlling them, there would be so many times growing up where I would just be sad and would then get upset at myself for being sad because I struggle with the feeling. And I struggle with feeling something else for that matter. Or I would be angry or upset at something, and I would just let that drag on, wasting time and energy on something that honestly just didn't matter. And then I get upset at myself for that feeling that way and then wasting all my time. It was a constant war with myself, and it could be a constant war with yourself. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that the majority of us have been there at some point in our lives. This step helps stop that. Because when we're getting upset at ourselves, we're claiming that a part of us is wrong. And truthfully, that's not the case at all. With claiming that something is wrong, we destroy the communication we have within ourselves. Now, shifting that to truly see the positive intent behind your emotion and become thankful for the fact that your brain is sending you an action signal, a support system is telling you, hey, we need to shift something, or we need to change how you're looking at this situation, your perception of that situation. Shifting all that creates massive change in you. When you can trust your emotions, and even though you may not know the message they're telling you right off the bat, but you understand that each and every single emotion that you experience is there to support you in creating a positive change in your life, you stop the war you have with yourself with regards to how you feel. You stop getting upset with yourself over how you feel because you grasp that this is trying to tell me something. Step 2, appreciate every one of your emotions because each one is trying to help you out. You just need to look just a little bit closer about what you're feeling. Is it anger? Is it hurt? Is it something different? Take a look. But step 3, right here, it's one that we've kind of already mentioned because like we said, each emotion brings with it a positive intent. The third step is that it's our job to get curious about what that is. We need to want to figure that out. Because if you can become curious about what an emotion is trying to tell you and get curious about what you can do to shift things for the better now, you completely shift the negative pattern you were falling into and completely shift the effect that emotion has on you in that moment. And then if you take that further, that helps you in the future. Because when you start to get curious about what is at hand, what the emotions are trying to tell you, you turn that negative situation into a learning experience. That's when the negativity starts to fade away because you've turned that negativity into a way to better yourself. You see this a lot with kids during a sport practice, with a coach talking to them, but it's become a learning experience that they did something wrong and they get better. So with you, ask yourself questions about what you're feeling. In learning this with Tony Robbins, he gives us basic questions to ask ourselves. You can write down right now. Like, what do I really want to feel? What would I need to believe in order to feel the way I've been feeling? What am I willing to do to create a solution and handle this right now? And what could I learn from this? Remember the questions video I continuously keep referring to in the recent solo messages? If you can change the questions that you ask yourself and change how you feel and how you act and how you think, change the questions you ask yourself on your emotions, and get curious about it to learn from it, That creates success in controlling and mastering your emotions. You gotta try it. Now, step 4 in this process is one I like to help people understand greatly because it's a realization that creates success that just does not fade in your life. Because step 4 is that you need to get confident. And in this specific area we've been going over, the best way to get confident is to understand that you've overcome this area before in your life. And what you've overcome before, you can overcome again. Because you leave behind a strategy to do so every single time you overcome it. You see that in every area, not just emotions in our lives. But with regards to emotions you're feeling, if you can remember a time that you've experienced this emotion before, and you got through it then successfully, you can do it again. Because any emotion or action signal we have felt in the past that we've gotten through has left behind a strategy to how to change your emotional state when it pops up again. We just need to understand how you did that and make sure it's a healthy way to change your state. Because if you look at the world, sadly, there are a lot of unhealthy ways to change your state for a period, but the unhealthy forms don't last and end up falling back to what you were, or could truthfully even make you feel lower than you were. So when trying to figure out what you did before, ask yourself, how did I handle this in the past? How did you shift your focus in the past? Or did you take a new action back then that shifted your state? Think about it. If you can decide now to do the same thing and be confident in yourself that this will work again, you're set. You know, whenever I get to help a client out who claims that they're feeling depressed, we dive into things, but I always ask them, can you remember a time when you weren't depressed? And then we dive into that. And truthfully, sometimes just going over those times changes our states. And then we dive even deeper into those specific moments. That gives us the roadmap that we can follow to change their state now. Step 4 works. And it's incredible to see the impact it has for people. Because sometimes we forget that we've overcome things in the past. But step 5 is certainty. Because you want to feel certain that you can handle the emotion if it pops up again in the future. So you need to create a plan for yourself. Now, like we just said in step 4, you've handled it in the past, which left a strategy or a roadmap behind. Use it. But go over with yourself how you would handle it later on down the line if it were to pop up again for you. Addressing this and practicing this plan you create for yourself will create a certain route in your brain in which you can easily handle the challenges that the emotions may bring if or when they pop up again. And that step carries us right into step 6. Because step 6 is the best step and the easiest, which is to get excited and take action. With every single step that we just went over, you were given a guideline to control your emotions when they pop up, or to control the ones that have been nagging at you for just some time now. There is a positive intent to every emotion we feel. And when you can understand that and understand the message that emotion is trying to tell you, so you can take action to better your life, truthfully, it changes how you see the emotions. And it allows you to master them. They aren't there to hurt you. They're an action signal telling you, hey, we got to get up and get moving. We got to change something here. Or whatever that means for you. With these 6 steps, you can stop the limiting patterns that you've been dealing with. You can get excited about that and take action now by using this 6-step process. When an emotion pops up for you, handle it right then with this. Don't wait for it to grow and for it to fester. Catch it at the door. understand it, and then take action so you can continue to live and improve your life. Your confidence will grow with each step that you take in this area. And to tell you from experience, it works. But I know that's a lot of information, and I hope you stuck with me the entire video. Like I said, this video connects to last week's video on action signals. So watch both of them again to help it stick in your mind so you can use this to better your life right now. Guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos coming at you every single Sunday. Like this video so we can spread it to more and more people. And if this video helped you and you feel it could help someone that you know, share it with them. We all need this information at some point in our lives because things pop up, whether it's emotions or it's something else. Share it with them. But guys, I thank you for tuning in. Until next week. See you guys.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made.